there is a subtle turning point in the life of a person who is truly waking up. A moment when the world starts to look less like a stage and more like a mirror. You still walk the same streets, see the same faces, hear the same conversations. But something fundamental has shifted inside. You begin to perceive the hidden architecture beneath human interaction, the unspoken contracts, the silent exchanges of power, the quiet desperation behind a practiced smile. At first, it feels like a gift. But soon a disturbing pattern emerges. You notice that your newfound clarity is not always met with openness. Sometimes it's met with a quiet, almost unconscious hostility. Carl Jung dedicated his life to studying this phenomenon. He observed individuals who had done the difficult work of confronting their own darkness, integrating the parts of themselves they'd rather ignore. They emerged with a terrifyingly sharp vision. What Jung found was deeply unsettling. The greatest danger to the person who sees clearly is not the obvious enemy or the ignorant skeptic. It's something far more insidious, the automatic, unconscious reaction of the crowd around them. When you raise your level of consciousness, you begin to cast a shadow on the unexamined lives of others. Most people navigate life through a fog of automatic habits and emotional defenses. When someone enters that fog with a clear light, it doesn't just illuminate, it exposes. The unconscious mind of the other person feels this exposure as a threat. Projection, envy, and resentment begin to fester, often without the other person even knowing why. Jung came to a vital conclusion. For the sake of psychological survival, the awakened individual must learn the art of strategic silence. This isn't about being secretive or manipulative. It's about navigating a world that is largely still asleep. Today, we're going to explore 5 crucial things you must protect once you begin to wake up, because if you don't, the very people around you may unconsciously conspire to pull you back under. Secret 1. Never reveal the depth of your certainty. Before awakening, life is a constant negotiation with self-doubt. You question your gut feelings, dismiss your insights, and look for external validation before trusting your own compass. But as you integrate your shadow, something shifts. Your perception becomes differentiated. You can suddenly see the hidden motive behind a kind gesture, the subtle manipulation hidden in a compliment. You start to trust yourself. Here is the danger. When you announce the certainty, when you calmly state what you see, it threatens the fragile psychological structure of those who are still lost. Certainty makes insecurity visible. People who haven't faced their own shadow cling to a story that keeps them safe. When you come along, seeing through the cracks in their story, it doesn't make them curious. It makes them feel exposed. They will call you arrogant. They will accuse you of thinking you're better than everyone else. But the truth is, you aren't claiming superiority. You are simply refusing to lie to yourself. Jung noticed that the most perceptive individuals often became social targets. Not because they were wrong, but because they broke the silent pact of polite society, the agreement to pretend not to see what is clearly there. Therefore, learn to hold your clarity quietly. See everything, but only speak to those who are ready to truly listen. Your certainty is a treasure. Showing it to those who would envy it only invites theft. Secret 2. Never reveal your inner map of transformation. Spiritual awakening is often portrayed as a random emotional surge. But for those on the path of individuation, it becomes a deliberate reconstruction of the self. You begin to map out your childhood wounds, identify your unconscious habits, and strategically dismantle the false structures you built for survival. You know exactly what you're working on. Revealing this map is dangerous because your transformation threatens the stability of the systems around you. Families, friendships, and workplaces are often held together by invisible roles. One person carries the guilt, another plays the caretaker. If you start changing, the whole system wobbles. If you announce your strategy, you give those threatened by your change a roadmap to your vulnerabilities. They may consciously or unconsciously sabotage your progress. Do you want to know why people often get angry when you start going to therapy or meditating? Because it destabilizes the dynamic they've grown comfortable with. Jung advised a quiet form of alchemy. Transform in silence. Let the results speak for themselves. You don't need to declare war on your old patterns. Simply outgrow them away from the spotlight. Secret 3. Never reveal your boundary for betrayal. As you integrate your shadow, your empathy matures. You stop confusing compassion with self-destruction. You develop what Jung called selective empathy. The ability to care deeply while maintaining impenetrable walls against exploitation. You know exactly what behavior you will no longer tolerate, and you know exactly what you will do when that line is crossed. But announcing those boundaries in advance is a strategic error. The manipulator, the narcissist, the emotional predator, they thrive on testing limits. If you tell them the exact fence line, they will spend their energy figuring out how to climb it without you noticing. They will provoke you, gaslight you, and try to make you look like the unreasonable one before you can act. However, when your boundaries are internal and unannounced, you hold the power of surprise. When the line is crossed, you don't argue, you don't warn. You simply remove yourself from the equation. No discussion, no drama. Just a quiet, irreversible consequence. This is not coldness. It's the highest form of self-respect. Your compassion remains, but it is no longer a hostage. Secret 4, never reveal your sacred wound. Deep awakening requires confronting the wound. It's usually something old, abandonment, betrayal, rejection. Jung noted that the unhealed wound creates a compulsion to repeat, dragging us through the same painful scenarios over and over. The wound is where the light gets in, but it's also where the world wants to dig its fingers. When you truly heal, that wound transforms into wisdom. The pain becomes a source of power. But revealing this healed wound to everyone is precarious. Many people are still living inside their own victimhood. When they see someone who has genuinely integrated their trauma, it challenges their identity. Subconsciously, they may try to pull you back into the role of the victim. They will treat you as fragile. They will bring up your past, trying to reinfect you with a pain you've already digested. This isn't always malice, it's often envy. Your healing is a mirror, showing them their own potential, and that reflection is too bright for them to bear. Protect your story, share your wisdom, but don't display your scars as a spectacle. They are sacred. Secret 5, never reveal your uncanny awareness. As your awareness deepens, you become an expert in social dynamics. You can read the room instantly, sense the emotional currents, and see through the personas people wear. Jung described the persona as the mask we show the world. The awakened person knows it's a mask. This gives you immense social flexibility. You can navigate any conversation, any power structure. but revealing the extent of this awareness makes others paranoid. If they realize you can see their hidden motives, they will feel exposed. They will start asking, "What are they thinking about me?" The dynamic becomes unnatural. To prevent this, Jung suggested a simple form of humility. Remain human. Let your mask have a few cracks. Admit to a small flaw. Laugh at a joke that isn't funny. Do not perform your awareness. The wisest observer is the one who sees everything while appearing to see nothing. This is not deception, it's diplomacy. It allows others to feel safe around your power. At first glance, these 5 principles might feel like a call to hide, but Jung's wisdom goes deeper. It's about protecting the flame of consciousness in a world of wind. You are learning to balance 2 realities, your inner truth and your outer presence. True psychological sovereignty isn't about proving how awake you are. It's about knowing when to speak and when to let silence be the container for your strength. The most powerful people are often the quietest in the room. They don't need to announce their clarity. They simply move through the world with a sense of unshakable calm, seeing the game but refusing to be played by it. If these ideas resonated with you, take a moment to honor the work you're doing in silence. The most profound transformations are often the ones happening where no one else can see. If this journey of insight has helped you see your own path more clearly, show your support with a like. It helps winds of thought bring these deeper currents of psychology to those ready to receive them. And if you want to continue exploring the hidden layers of the mind, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for your presence, and I'll see you in the next one.